Hello, Dylan H26. How's it going? Let's see. Can you guys see me? I'm trying to pull it up on my computer to make sure everything's working properly, and it's saying there's an error. So if you cannot see, I'll type something. Let's see. Hold on. We might have a technical problem. Okay. You say that you can see and hear me, so that's good. Okay. Alright, yeah, now it's working. Alright. Yes, now I see everything. Alright. Yep, survived the rain on Sunday. It got a little bit bad at times, but it was not horrible, thankfully. Hello, David. How's it going? Hope you're having a good afternoon. It's afternoon now. Yeah, so I'm going to talk about my experience at the track, obviously. Just talk about the weekend itself, and then talk about some of the things that I didn't get to talk about Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, but just about the race itself, the rain, the controversy, the crashes, all that stuff. Give my thoughts on it, even the racing itself. That's what this is for, so feel free to ask me any questions that come up to you during this time, obviously, just to talk about it. But yeah, my computer's still showing that there's an error. So if you ever cannot hear or see me, say something in the comments if there's a problem, and I will do my best to figure it out. Not a tech wizard, but I'll do my best. So yes, let me see here. Hello, Kyle Larson. How is it going? Hope you're having a good afternoon. I keep on forgetting it's afternoon. It feels like the morning. But yeah. Hope everyone's having a good afternoon, a good day so far. All right. So, third straight second place finish for Larson. So just to talk about, I guess, individual drivers' days, Chase Elliott gets his first one of the season. First time since 2014, all four Hendrick guys have won in a season. They've been pretty down, not like horrible. They were horrible for a couple years by their standards for a bit, but they've definitely been down compared to normal. Last year they won the championship. Obviously, they got 7 or 8 wins between Bowman, Byron, and Elliott. And then, but before that, after Gordon retired, it really went down. 2014 was that year that they all four won. They had about 15, 16 wins. And even 2015, the year Gordon made the Final Four, they weren't their best. Earnhardt Jr., Dale Jr. had a couple of wins. Jimmy had a few wins. Jeff Gordon obviously had a win, but Casey Kane was winless. 2016, Jimmy's championship year. Jimmy was the only one that won that year, I think. 2017, Jimmy was the only one Jimmy and Casey Kane both won races that year, but it was only like 3 or 4 races. 2018, they went with 3 wins from Elliott. 2019, they only had 4 or 5 between Elliott and Bowman. And then obviously last year we just talked about, but they've got 2 from Bowman, 1 from Elliott, 1 from Byron, 1 from Larson. They've got 5 in the first 13, 14 races. So, yeah, it's a pretty good start for them, for sure. But, I mean, I don't know what they did different. I don't know if Chad Knaus is making that much of a difference in terms of his new role as the president of competition or whatever. But whatever they're doing over there right now is working because they are winning, and they are winning everywhere. Road courses, short tracks, I guess, whatever Dover, they run the 750 short track package, but it's not a short track. So, and then obviously 2 dominant mile-and-a-half wins. They've dominated multiple mile-and-a-halves with Larson, but he just couldn't close the deal. But another second place for Larson, as Kyle Larson said in the comments. Good points day for him. I think Hendrick has 3 of the top 5 spots in the points with Elliott, Byron, and Larson. Bowman's like 10th or 11th in points, but they're winning. Bowman's winning the most, obviously. He's got the most wins out of the group. But, yeah, overall, really good day for Hendrick Motorsports again. Not as good as last week when they finished 1, 2, 3, 4, but still a really good week for them to pull off a 1-2 at an inaugural event. And Ty Petty Enterprise is obviously a big deal, historic deal. And then obviously Chevrolet's 800th win. I think somewhere they said Hendrick has Chevy's 400th, 500th, 600th, 700th, 800th win in the Cup Series for Chevrolet. So that's a pretty big deal. But, yeah, pretty historic day with the new track, the rain. You know, we don't get to see a ton of rain racing. We've only seen one rain race, and it wasn't even raining. The track was just super wet because it had poured before the race. But that was at the Roval last year, and people quickly changed to slicks, and they were able to outrun everyone. That's why Ty Dillon won that stage. But that wasn't really a rain race. I don't even consider that a rain race. I mean, they ran rain tires for a bit, but that wasn't really a rain race. This was the first pure rain race that we have seen in, I don't know if it's the first time in NASCAR history, but definitely recent memory. It rained the whole race. I mean, it wasn't raining like 5 minutes before the command, but then after the command, it started to sprinkle a bit. And once the cars were doing the pace laps, it started to rain a bit harder. And I was like, okay, it's going to get interesting because I knew they qualified in the dry tires. So, yeah, those first few laps, I was really expecting a little bit more chaos. So I thought they did really good at the beginning of the race of not getting into each other, not spinning out on the dry tires at a new track. First time really racing on this track. I know they had an hour of practice and, you know, obviously their 30-minute qualifying session, but they never really got a ton of practice. They got to feel the track out, but they didn't get side-by-side racing and all that. But, yeah, they did really good at the beginning, but once the water started to stain on the track, that's when it started to get ugly, kicking up a ton of water, and that's where we saw those crashes. After the stage caution is when it got really bad, and then after the stage caution, that's when the Bell, Bubba, Harvick, Blaney crash happened. Throw caution, cleaned up the mess, still running yellow laps, and it takes forever. These pace laps take forever. It's a 3.41 mile course. The laps are going to take forever under green. They're 2.5 minutes, so pace laps are going to be much slower, 5 to 6 minutes, maybe even longer than that to complete the pace laps. So you knew it was going to do something if they kept it, and they did. Then they threw the red after the Truex Custer crash. And as for a solution, I mean, let me check the comments before I get into the rain, the whatever they need to do for that, in my opinion. But let's see. This year is going to be Hendrick versus Gibbs. Very well could be. All 4 Hendrick drivers have won. 3 of the 4 Gibbs have won. And Hamlin, the only one who hasn't won there, is leading the points. So all 4 Hendrick have been very strong this year. All 4 Gibbs have been very strong this year. So I could very well see that happening. You know, 2 powerhouses in the last decade or so. Or 2 decades, I guess. They've been really good. So, yeah, I could definitely see that, and obviously we've seen it. Those are the 2 winningest teams this year, Hendrick with 5, Gibbs with 4 or 5 wins this year. I think Truex has, 5. Yeah, I think they both have 5 apiece. But, yeah, those 2 are definitely powerhouses. If Larson could close, he could have 5 dubs. Yeah, he won Vegas. If he didn't wreck himself, I believe he would have had a shot at the Daytona road course because he was on fresher tires, but he wrecked himself. So that's a tough call. I don't know if we can call that for him, but you could definitely make a case for it. Atlanta. What else? I'm trying to think here. I know he could have 4 or 5. I'm just trying to remember the races that he led a lot of laps. Dover, obviously, that's another one. Kansas, he was running really good until the end there. So I think those are a few races he could have won that got away, but obviously, yeah. The next decade is going to be Hendrick. All their drivers is in the top 10 best active drivers, even Bowman. Yeah, Hendrick's got a strong lineup. You know, there were doubts creeping in before Byron's first win about him. You know, they had struggled a bit last year, taking a step down from the 2018 or 2019 season because they had done so good in 2019 compared to 2018. They made the playoffs, made it to a round of 12, and then last year, up to the win, they were barely making the playoffs. Even with the win, they still were going to make the playoffs by like 4 or 5 points, but then they get eliminated in the first round. But this year they came out and they've been really good. Rudy Fugel's done a great job. They won a race in like the third race of the season. They had an 11 or 12 race top 10 streak. I mean, that team's on fire. So, yeah, they've impressed. Obviously, we knew Larson was going to be good. Elliott hasn't been great, but he's still been good. He's top 5 in points, and everyone's saying he's having a down year or whatever. And then Bowman's got 2 wins. People were like, oh, can Bowman win enough? Can he win more than 1 race a year? Well, he's won 2 in the first 14. So Hendrick's had a really good year so far. That young driver lineup, if they can keep all 4 of those drivers, they are going to be a threat for years to come, maybe even decades. Just letting you know, my phone is about to die, so if I leave, my bad. You're all good, Austin. Hot take, Harvick never wins another race. I disagree. I think I picked him in the preseason to win the 600, so that might be my pick this week. I'm going to have to go back and check that. Hopefully they get their rain officiating sorted out right before Road America. Yeah, so let's get into that real quick. Quick solutions to the rain problem. You know, obviously NASCAR hasn't raced enough in the rain to know, so everyone's like, NASCAR, you suck. But the fact of the matter is that they don't race in the rain enough to know what they're doing in the rain. It's not like they race every single week in the rain or every other week in the rain. This is the first time they've raced when it's rained the whole entire time, and so it's a learning process. That's not giving an excuse to NASCAR, not saying that this excuses their issues with the cars and stuff, but it shows them that some things need to be done with the car to help visibility or whatever. And the simple solutions that could be fixed by Sonoma, if there was some miraculous storm in Sonoma in June, the quick solution would be a brighter light on the back of the car so that you can see them. I mean, those lights were awful. You can't see them. All the onboard cameras, you cannot see anything in the cars. And then the windshield wipers. The windshield wipers are awful. It's one windshield wiper, and it works about half the time. Some of the drivers that drove by us, they were literally going like this. Like super slow, super fast, super slow. Some of them weren't even on. The windshield wipers are awful. You know, I get that it could mess up the aerodynamics, I guess. You don't want something that's going to hinder the racing, but it's windshield wipers. It's not like you got to get them sticking out of the windows or something, but they need something more efficient. They need something better there, something that can work and help the visibility. As for the kick-up, I think they're testing mud flaps today at Richmond for the rain tires, the oval rain tires on the short tracks, the short flat tracks. I think they're doing that today, so they're going to try some type of mud flaps. That might mess up the aerodynamics. I don't know, but they got to do something, obviously, to prepare for any type of rain. You know, but it's, as for a long-term thing, the next-gen car, I don't know what the next-gen car is going to do in the rain, but it's definitely going to be tough either way. But the simple solutions, in my opinion, are a brighter, bigger light on the back of the cars, better windshield wipers, and as for a long-term solution, I don't know. And people blaming the track, people are like, oh, it's because the backstretch is too long or whatever. We need to run the short circuit at COTA. The racing at COTA was amazing, let me tell you. From my perspective, turn 12, there was never a dull lap at turn 12 where I was sitting. There was always someone passing someone there. There was always side by side, someone running wide trying to get a run into turn 13. Turn 15 was an action spot. Looking up at turn 1 was an action spot. Turn 11 was a passing zone. Heck, I didn't expect the S's to have any passing, but I saw them going side by side through 3 through 8, and there was a lot of passing going on at turn 9. I mean, COTA is a great track. It's a great track surprisingly for NASCAR. I was kind of skeptical, but I was also optimistic at the same time. But I really thought the racing was great this weekend, and the controversy of the crashes, the low visibility, the rain just really kind of shadowed everything else, or whatever you want to say. I personally thought the racing was great this weekend. I hope we go back next year. I hope we go back forever, because that was a great race. The rain is the only problem that needs to be fixed, in my opinion. But I hope they come back to COTA. The racing was great. The action was great. Different guys up front, different guys competing for the lead. One of my favorite moments of the race was before that Truex Custer crash. Ryan Preece and Ross Chastain fighting for the lead. Had a great battle going up through 1, up through 10 and 11. They were swapping the lead side by side. Coming down into 12, I think it was Preece leading. Chastain went to the outside, used that runoff area, was able to pass Chastain or Preece back. That was a great battle. So I thought the racing was amazing. It's just that people were so built up. They were over-exaggerating, in my opinion, about the crashes and the visibility. Let's go back to comments. Let's see. Where was I? Larson is pushing his equipment too much at Ganassi. He had to with equipment while he does not need to right now with HMS and needs to learn not to 1,000% the entire race. I mean, I don't think that's a problem, but I think it's just been like late race cautions have been a problem. You know, his car fell off at the end at Atlanta, so I think it's a variety of things. Bad luck could be a thing, but yeah, and then like Dover, all 4 Hendrick cars were equal that day. It was just a matter of who was up front, and that day Larson just had a slower pit stop, and it cost him. Let's see. I don't know what happens. He's great throughout the race, but every time he wins both stages or leads a lot of laps, his car just falls. Top 5 drivers right now based on production right now and talent. Byron broke a Jeff Gordon record, and yet no one is talking about it. Everyone sleeps on him. Yeah, I mean, coming into this year, I thought last year was going to be the breakout year for Byron. They had such a good first year with Chad Knaus. I thought last year was going to be the year they won a few races, maybe make a deep run in the playoffs. I didn't expect a championship or anything, but I expected a deep playoff run and a few wins, and they heavily disappointed me. And this year has been what last year was basically. They've been competing for wins nonstop. 11 straight top 10s, as I said earlier. They won a race, dominated a race at Homestead, Miami. They've been leading laps. I mean, they've had a tremendous year. So I'm curious to see how they do for the rest of the year. They were talking about Bowman's win, Larson choking, and Elliott not doing great. Yeah, like, people were saying, like, Elliott's a weak link at Hendrick. I don't think there's a weak link at Hendrick this year. They're all 4 really, really good. They're all 4 winning races in the top 5, leading laps. So there's no real weak link in Hendrick, in my opinion. Especially since if road courses are going to be... Yeah, like, with road courses, I mean, we got 7 of them this year. Like, I've always liked road courses. I remember when I first became a NASCAR fan, Watkins Glen and Sonoma were, like, some of my favorite weeks because it was something unique. It was something new, something that we didn't see all the time. And now we got so many different road courses, and it's so, like, all over the country, all over different types of road courses, different twists and turns and elevations and everything. So it's been really, really fun. But, you know... If they're gonna keep doing this, they do have to improve the rain situation. I want them to race in the rain. Obviously, a torrential downpour, that's a bit different. But if it's like sprinkling, light raining, the track is wet, I want to be able to race in that. I don't want to have to sit there for 3 hours being like, oh, rain, stop. I forgot. I always forget. Ever since I've come back, I forget I'm so close to this thing. I can't swing my head back. I don't want too many road courses. I agree. But if they're taking up 1.5 mile spots, I'll take it because 1.5 miles just kind of get boring after a while, especially with this package. But road courses, I love road courses. Charlotte's coming up. Yep. 5 to 8 is good, honestly. I would say 5 to 6 is my number. And those 5 road courses, if we were to have a road course that were to repeat, like go twice in a year, I would say COTA would be the great place. Just because, you know, the environment there this weekend was amazing. I haven't talked about that yet, but I mean, tons of fans there, tons of happy fans. I mean, even though the weather was ugly, tons of fans were out there. You know, people were having a good time. And COTA's a great facility if you're not a NASCAR fan to go do something fun. They have a soccer field there. You know, you can't play soccer. They have a concert hall there, but they had tons of food options there. They had pizza, Mexican food, you know, your typical American restaurant with like burgers, chicken tenders, sandwiches, whatever you want. They had, I'm sure they had like, you know, beer stands, obviously. And then the merchandise haulers, they had those too. And then they had some setups. They had the Toyota setup. They had a Ford setup. And like, that's all the fan zone around turns 14, 15, 16 with the tower. And then going over, we walked across basically everywhere we could. We went over the bridge over turn 16, the bridge over turn 3. And, you know, you can walk so much around this track, so close to the track. And turn 1, let me tell you, like, this whole track, the elevation of this whole track, everyone knows how steep turn 1 is. That was amazing and stuff, but some, like, the elevation between turns 18, 19, and 20, you don't see it on TV or even like on video games, but it's like, it's surprisingly an elevation change there. But anyways, even like behind the main grandstands, they had a zip line over there. They have a go-kart track back there. They had more haulers. They had more stuff, more restaurants and stuff. So COTA is like a great place to go for a first race, in my opinion. If you're like a new NASCAR fan, like a fan sitting in front of me, he was talking to his buddy, and he's like, yeah, this is my first NASCAR race. I've never been to a NASCAR race. I'm a huge Formula One fan, but I thought it'd be really fun to see a NASCAR race here. I've been to so many F1 races. I was like, that's pretty cool, you know? We got F1 fans showing up. I saw tons of F1 gear. I saw Mercedes, Ferrari, McLaren, whatever it may be. And I was like, that's pretty cool. We got F1 fans coming over to the F1 track where NASCAR's racing. That's a W for NASCAR. Big W. But then they put the race on FS1 and the ratings kind of sucked for NASCAR. If it was on the Big Fox, it would have been amazing. But anyways, back to the comments. I just really wanted to talk about how good the experience was at the track. It was just such a cool track. You should rank all the drivers in the field based on pure talent and depth, just a video idea. I could do that. It would take a while, but I could do that. Just want to say keep up the good content. Thank you, Master Piman 7884. Sorry if I mispronounced that, but thank you. Glad you guys are enjoying it. It's been a good couple of weeks for the channel. You guys, subscribers and non-subscribers, have seemed to enjoy the content this past week from the track. Obviously, a ton of views on the posts like the immediate after Elliott won the race, and then the vlog has been doing pretty good in terms of views and likes and comments and all that. So glad you guys are enjoying that. I try to get to the track when I can. I'll be at the Texas All-Star race in a couple of weeks, so I'll do something else like that again here in a few weeks. I'll be back. So it's really, really fun to go to the racetrack, really fun to get you guys as much stuff as I can, I guess to say. Makes it more fun for me. I'm sure you guys enjoy it too. So I thought that was rain at first. It's been raining all week. But yeah, it's been really fun. It's been a really fun few weeks. Talladega was fun. COTA was fun. I'm looking forward to the Texas All-Star race. If there was so far this season, it would... Oh, talking about the weakest league at Hendrick. Yes, none are even close to bad. I agree with that statement. Hello, Bassmaster Fan 19. I'm doing good. I hope you're doing good too. Having a good day. Hello, Cardinals Fan 1990. Hope you're having a good day. Danny Boyd 2003 says Sonoma or Laguna Seca, Watkins Glen, Montreal, Roval, COTA, and Road America would be the perfect road course schedule. I like those tracks. Sonoma obviously has been on the NASCAR schedule forever. Really like that track. I wish they went back to the layout though. I don't like the carousel layout, to be honest with you. I prefer the I don't even know what they call the 1.99 mile layout. I like that one better. I just thought it raced better. I thought it was a more fun layout, but whatever, they can do what they want. Laguna Seca, I've seen races at that track. I've seen it in like video games and stuff. The only thing I would question about that track for NASCAR is, you know, the turn, like you go uphill but then you go quickly downhill and like turn at the same time, like you go, I don't know how to show it. That would be difficult, I think, for the stock cars. It'd be a really tight turn. So that would be a question mark. Watkins Glen should never, ever, ever leave the schedule. That is arguably the best road course on the schedule. I mean, such great races have happened. Some of the best races in NASCAR history. 2011, Watkins Glen with Ambrose Keselowski and Kyle Busch. 2014 was a great race. I went to the race in 2016. That was a great race at Watkins Glen. I mean, Watkins Glen has had so many amazing races. Montreal, I've never actually watched a race on that track. Roval, obviously a great addition, a great unique track for NASCAR. COTA and Road America, yes, I agree. But if we are to get rid of one current track, road course-wise, I would say the Daytona road course. Both races there have been pretty meh, in my opinion. Anyways, who will win this week? Truex is a favorite. Larson is a favorite, as you said. I think Harvick will be up there. I feel like he will. He could just flop like Stewart Haas has been doing all year, but I expect him to be the strength. Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Joe Gibbs Racing. Byron, I expect Byron to be up there with Larson. Let's see. Penske, I don't know. It depends. Blaney could get up there. Brad's the defending winner, obviously, and then Joey Logano, he's a great driver, so they could get up there depending on how they show up. But yeah. Do you watch football? I do watch football. It's a few months away, football season. Hello again, Cardinals fan 1990. I don't know if I said hi. I'm sorry if I missed that. Tony Stewart and Jeff Gordon, Chase Elliott, Road Course King, tie 3. Yes. I agree with that. I mean, I don't know what else to say about that. Yeah. You have Watkins Glen. Yeah, road courses in NASCAR, I got the layouts, except for Road America. I'm not confident in Indianapolis road course. I'm not confident in that layout that I could name every turn or show every turn. I'm very confident in COTA, Watkins Glen, Sonoma, the old Sonoma layout. I don't know the new Sonoma layout, like turn by turn. Daytona road course. Those are the road courses I know, like by memory, every single turn. But yeah, COTA is one of my favorites. Recency bias, but I really like the track itself. The elevation changes, the turns, the straightaways. It's such a unique racetrack. Hello, NASCAR Stop Motion and more. How are you doing? I hope you're having a good afternoon, good day. Hope you enjoyed the race this weekend. Hot take, Elliott is horrible and is only good because of HMS. Just kidding. Just kidding. What's up, NASCAR fan? 93-100. Wow, I can't read. How is it going? Yes, I really hope NASCAR returns to COTA too. I really enjoyed it down there as a fan. The racing seemed really good. I don't know how the TV broadcast did. I watched like the 15-minute highlight video. It seemed like, pretty decent coverage. I don't know how the camera angles were. I don't know how Jeff Gordon, Clint Boyer, Mike Joy did in the booth. I don't know how fans were perceiving it from that perspective, but I really enjoyed the race, everything that happened. I've already talked about some of the controversy with the rain and stuff, the crashes. It took them about 10 minutes to put out Custer's fire, by the way. Like, we were literally sitting there in turn 12 just staring at his car that was still on fire, and we're like, there's literally this, like, safety dude just staring at the fire, and I'm like, get your fire extinguisher, what are you doing? But after like 10 minutes and they finally did it, everyone started cheering. It was hilarious. Also, the turn 12 section hated Kyle Busch with a passion. It was hilarious. Kyle Busch led for like 15 laps, and every time he went by, 5 or 6 people were like, missed the turn, blow a tire, wreck yourself. And I'm like, guys, like, chill out. Like, during drivers' intros, when they showed him on screen, they didn't even say his name and people were booing. It was pretty funny. Austin Cindric took the lead from him. People cheered a good bit. Austin Cindric actually, like, retweeted my video. That was neat. Let's see what else happened to Kyle. When Kyle got passed by Elliott for what would have been the race lead late in the race, People cheered pretty hard for that. And then Kyle Busch. I mean, the people just didn't like Kyle Busch in our section. They loved James Davison. James Davison would come by like 15 minutes later after everyone because he was having brake problems. And, dude, people would like start cheering. They'd clap and they'd be like, oh, yeah, James Davison, 15 car. It was pretty funny. Let's see. Watkins Glen is my favorite. Love the high speeds. Yes, Watkins Glen is an amazing track. Like, when I played NASCAR 2011, the game on the Wii, the greatest game of all time, dude, I go to Watkins Glen all the time. That's a fun racetrack. I love the chicane on the back stretch. You go like 170 miles into it, and if you can hit it just right, you hit the curb just right, and you can turn it just right, whew, it feels good to go through. It really does. F1 used to go there, I think, back in the 70s and 80s. What a time to be alive. They missed all the crashes. Broadcast was fairly bad, but it was okay. Yeah, I feel like the rain, like some of the angles, like the rain just kind of ruined it. Hello, NASCAR. Nope, Saints NASCAR fan 14. Hello. Sorry for almost mispronouncing your name and calling you NASCAR fan Saints. Daytona road course is starting to get annoying now. It's cool at first, but it reminds me of how IndyCar is with the Indy road course. Yeah, the Daytona road course, like, it's a cool layout. It's a cool track, and then obviously they did 24 hours at Daytona, which is cool. But for NASCAR, like, last year's race, like, nothing happened. Like, it was so hyped up, and then it was just boring. Like, nothing happened. Elliott led, like, 40 laps out of the 60. No one really contended for the win. A late caution didn't even spice things up. Nothing happened. And then this year, prior to that rain caution, nothing happened. I mean, Daytona road course, if we're going to, it's a good late, like if there's a last minute addition that NASCAR needed, sure, that's a good option. But I think the Daytona road course should only be used for the Clash. It should not be a points paying race. The Clash was really good this year. As for the points races have been pretty mediocre. They need to make the flashing rain lights bigger and brighter on the cars. I 100% agree with that, and they also need better windshield wipers. Hello, Parker. I have a feeling Kyle Busch is going to be praised once he reaches his twilight seasons. I'd like to believe that too, but dude, people like passionately hate Kyle Busch. Like, I'm pretty sure there are people out there who dedicate their lives to hating Kyle Busch. Like, every day they see an 18, whether it be like they're like a calendar, whether it be like there's 18 documents that need to be signed, whether it's your expensive lunch is $18. I feel like people just see the 18, they get their Sharpie and they just etch it out, and they're just so mad, they shred it up. You know, I just feel like people like passionately hate Kyle Busch so much. Like, they hate the number 18. I like Kyle Busch. I personally like Kyle Busch. You know, he's a really good driver. He's a future first ballot Hall of Famer. He's won in every car he's been in. I respect the dude. You know, I think he's hilarious too when he like makes fun of people for booing him. But dude, some people are like dedicated to hating Kyle Busch, and it's quite hilarious. I really respect the cameramen for being in the rain for like 5 hours standing up. Yes. Those dudes have a tough job. Them and the spotters, that's like literally all they do is just stand there and look at the cars for a couple seconds, and then the lap where nothing is happening, they just kind of sit back and they're like, stop raining or let this be over. So they had a tough day, but good job to those guys. Who's your pick for the Coke 600? Mine's Chase, since he deserves redemption from last year's Coke 600. I would pick Elliott, but you know they've talked about for so long. Oh, Harvick, Elliott, and Hamlin had 23 wins last year, or whatever. I think it was like 21 actually. 21 wins between the three of them last year, and before COTA they had never won this year, and it was such a big deal. Blah, 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 blah. They wouldn't stop talking about it, and then Elliott won. And, you know, I'm sure that now it's going to be Hamlin and Harvick had 16 wins last year, and they still haven't won in the first 15 races this year. So annoying to hear about that every week. Yes, we get it. They were really good last year and they haven't won this year, but they're still doing good. Like, just stop bringing that up every 5 minutes. So I feel like that's going to be broken this week by one of those two. I think it's going to be Harvick because I think that's my preseason pick, and I like sticking with my preseason picks. I'd like to think Harvick will pull some weird thing out of nowhere, whether it be a late race caution, he stays out, or like the leaders wreck each other or something, or maybe he just goes out and has his best race of the season, leads like 200 laps and wins. I don't know. Harvick or Hamlin, I feel like, are going to be the ones that win. I'm going to go with Harvick. I don't even know if Hamlin's won a 600. I know Harvick has. I know he's won like multiple, but I'm going to go with Harvick. Why not? Random question, where will we see the next airborne crash? By airborne, do you mean like all 4 tires have to be off the ground, or do you mean like something that happened on Sunday and someone rear-ends someone and like you can see under their car like this, like their front tire's on the ground but the back of their car is up? Because there's a huge difference in like 4 tires off the ground and 2 tires off the ground. If we're going with 4 tires off the ground, the next time all 4 tires will be off the ground. Upcoming races are Charlotte, Sonoma, Texas, All-Star, Nashville, Pocono, Road America. None of those tracks I see someone like getting 4 tires off the ground airborne. If we're going like 2 tires, Road America, I think they got some long straightaways there. I'd say Road America. Pocono, like, ever since they shortened the wall, like, you know, on the back stretch and then the short shoot, whatever they call that, ever since they moved the wall up, like, there's been no big crashes there, I feel like no, like, scary crashes in NASCAR. And then the front stretch, the wall's not big enough or long enough. So, not Pocono. Nashville's too short. Texas is too slow with their freaking horsepower restrictions. So stupid. 600, it's not going to happen. And then Sonoma's too slow. So I'm going to go with Road America. That's the best chance. I mean, I don't want to see it, but that would be the best opportunity for it to happen. Harvick is carrying the heck out of Stewart-Haas Racing this season. That's accurate. Darrell Waltrip during his prime was just as unpopular as Kyle Busch, and he became praised by the fans during his twilight seasons. Dude, I love Darrell Waltrip. So you could be right there. That's a good point. And like, even with Jimmy and Jeff, people booed them all the time. But yeah, Larson wins the 600 and leads 90% of the laps. Nah, Larson will find a way to finish second. Joke. For real though, I don't see anyone, especially with stage racing, I don't see anyone ever doing what Truex did again in 2016, leading 392 out of 400. That will never happen again in the 600. Maybe even a NASCAR race, but that is such an incredible feat that stage racing just kind of ruins it because so much can happen. Some guys could stay out late in a stage. Some guys could pit. Pit road, you could have a problem after the stage. You could have a problem on pit road. That's never going to happen again as long as we have stage racing. I like stage racing. I just hate the stage cautions. There should not be a caution at the end of the stages. I love awarding points for consistency, but stage cautions are stupid, in my opinion. Do you feel like Larson's going to finish second again in the 600? Yes. He will find a way. He will find a way to finish second. He will find a way. Remember Jimmy Johnson got DQ'd from last year's 600? He finished second, but then like some technicality, like his rear suspension or something was whack. So they were like, nope, disqualified. I picked Charlotte Kyle Larson. I mean, that's a good pick. I feel like Larson's been good everywhere this year except for like Richmond. So it's a good pick basically every single week. Like Larson, when he was at Ganassi, I was like, he kind of sucks at road courses. His best finish is like 15th. His 2 road courses this year with Hendrick, he was running top 5 when he wrecked himself at the Daytona road course, and he was top 5 all day at COTA. So Is Larson a road course guy now? I don't know. Maybe it's just the Hendrick equipment, dude. I mean, Hendrick's always been good at road courses, so maybe that's it. Which new drivers do you think will win before the playoffs? Like drivers who haven't won this year. Let's think. Harvick and Hamlin. Duh. Those two will find a way to win. If they don't, if both of them don't win, I'll be 100% shocked. If one of them doesn't win, I'll be 90% shocked. If neither of them win, or if both of them win, then that's not surprising at all. Those two will find a way to win. So that will put us at 13 winners this year. We have Daytona. That could be a potential upset winner. It would be someone like Jones, Bubba. I tell you what, Reddick has been stepping it up these last few weeks. Not talking about Daytona, but Reddick, if he puts himself in position, if they keep on improving, I could see him pulling off a win in almost anywhere. You know, RCR's really improved. They took a huge step forward last year with both drivers. They've taken another step forward this year with Reddick. Dillon's still been good, but, you know, Reddick's been more consistent in my opinion. But I could see Reddick winning, so we'll add him to that list. That's 3 winners. Kurt Busch has been off this year. I would have said Kurt Busch before the season, but Kurt Busch is having a bad year, so I'm not going to put him on that list. Chastain has improved tremendously. I'm not going to put him on the wins list, but he has improved tremendously in the past few weeks. He's been leading laps. He's been up front. Let's check the NASCAR standings because I'm blanking out on drivers right now. Let's see. COTA results. I'll just go off that because, yeah. So, like some of these guys, like Briscoe. I love Chase Briscoe. I picked him to win a race this year, and that's going to be very wrong. That's 3. Let's see if we can get another. I tell you what, if Buescher could pull an Austin Dillon from last year, where if they get a good time caution, they stay out, they could pull something off. Buescher's impressed me this year. I picked him to make the playoffs last year. That was wrong, but they have improved this year. They're going to end up making the playoffs the year I don't predict them to make the playoffs. Buescher's been good, but I'd say those 3 I just talked about are the only ones I could see winning. So Reddick, Harvick, Hamlin. As for Daytona, Jones, DiBenedetto, Bubba, Dillon, Jones again, Newman, whoever it may be, those are the guys. But as for part-timers, guys who may win but not make the playoffs, Allmendinger at any road course, Cindric at any road course, they both impressed me this weekend. Go to any road course with them and give them good equipment. They're going to have a great shot at winning, but yeah. I'm excited for the All-Star race. Lots of restate with this package should be entertaining. My problem with it, obviously 1 and 2 at Texas are crap ever since they've redone it, but we have only had 3, 4, 5, 6 races with the 750 package at that track, and only 2 of them have been good. That's hold on, quick math here. 33% of the races have been good. We've taken away horsepower since then, and there's only been 1 good race. So out of the 4 races we've had, 1. That's 25%. Obviously very low numbers, but still. And we're taking away horsepower again. Why? Why? NASCAR fans have been saying they want more horsepower, but NASCAR keeps taking away. Here's what I want. For the All-Star race, I really wish they just did this one-off race, said, all right, put the 2014 package on this car. The 2014 package was the best of the Gen 6. I think they had 900 horsepower, high downforce, so it was both. It was both high horsepower and high downforce. The racing was great every single track. I remember almost every race that year, something happening in every race that year. I don't remember any boring races that year. It didn't matter if we went to a super speedway, a short track, a road course, Indianapolis, Pocono, Texas, Michigan, all the tracks that people hate now had great races that year. I mean, seriously. I think they should have done a one-off and said, all right, 2014 package, let's put a buttload of horsepower. Let's give them a big spoiler for the downforce. Let's have them race that package. I thought it would have been a good race. You know, because that car was amazing. But no, let's take away more horsepower and make this a wreck fest. It's gonna be a wreck fest. It's an all-star race. That's not for points. People are gonna act extra stupid. They're gonna make bolder moves than they would on a normal week. So it's gonna be stupid. It's gonna be a wreck fest. I'm looking forward to being there and stuff, but I'm a little disappointed in NASCAR and Texas Motor Speedway in taking away horsepower rather than adding it. Is Kyle Larson the next Denny Hamlin at choking wins after Denny retires? The thing about Hamlin, this year he's choked away wins. But the thing is, he has like 45 career wins. So it's not like he chokes all the time. It's just that he chokes championships. That's what he's known for. He's known for choking championships. Larson is more known for choking races. Like, Hamlin's choked 3 or 4 away this year, but Larson's choked 4 or 5. So they're like, this year they're equal on choking terms of races, but Hamlin has not been like over his career choking races. He's been choking championships. Oh, yes, NASCAR stop motion and more. Logano is so underrated at road courses. His last 5 finishes have all been, they've all been podium finishes, I guess, top 3 finishes. Like, I almost picked him coming into this weekend, but I thought that would be too bold. But he's, like, the past few road course races I've been looking at, I'm like, hey, he's been doing better. I've never considered him a road course guy. He's only got 1 win from 2015 when Kevin Harvick ran out of fuel at Watkins Glen. I've never considered him good at road courses up until the road course at Charlotte, the Roval, because I was like, maybe one good race. And, I knew he ran top 10 at Daytona, and I was like, okay. But, the Daytona road course this year, the COTA, he's been impressive. So he's becoming a higher favorite at some of these road courses. So good for him. Biggest disappointment of 2021 is definitely Stewart-Haas Racing. I agree, NASCAR fan 93-100. I really thought Briscoe was going to do good. Boyer made the playoffs in that car last year. I like to believe that they're just not focusing on this year, that they're focusing on the long term. They're focusing on the next-gen car, putting all their money into that, parts into that, research into that. That's what I like to believe. If that's not the case, then they've got big problems there, but they've sucked this year outside of Harvick. Almirola can't catch a break and is like freaking battling for 29th in points with Anthony Alfredo. That's pathetic. Chase Briscoe's a rookie. I would give him a pass, but I think he's really good. I think he should be doing better than what he's been doing. Custer's in his second year. He got a win last year. It was kind of a fluke win. I mean, a win's a win in NASCAR. I don't care how you win. I don't care if it's rain shortened, fog shortened, lightning shortened. I don't care if you get some stupid restart like last year and get a win. A NASCAR Cup Series win's a NASCAR Cup Series win. So Cole Custer did what he had to do. He is a Cup Series winner. I'm not trying to call it a Mickey Mouse win or anything, but it was a fluke. They sucked last year. They had maybe 3 or 4 good races last year. So, they're basically the same as last year, but Almirola has been extremely disappointing this year. I mean, they've had a lot of bad luck, but even outside of the bad luck, they've straight up shown up to tracks and run 30th. They have run behind Rick Ware racing cars sometimes. They've been that bad this year. I don't know what it is. I don't know why, but they have been awful this year. And then Kevin Harvick is Kevin Harvick. Like, I don't know how he's doing it. He's literally that freaking good. Kevin Harvick should be a multiple-time champion, but okay, good job, NASCAR playoff system. Buescher is very impressive, especially at Homestead this year. Accurate. I keep hearing rumors that they are going to race the next-gen car at the All-Star race. That's not happening. They are literally not getting their first parts until June, which is when the All-Star race is. So, that's not happening. I 100% believe that's not happening. Someone brought it up, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe they have the parts now, but a few reports said they're not even getting their parts till June, so there's no way that's happening. And if they run a freaking 450 horsepower package or whatever it is with the next gen car at Texas at the All-Star race, I'm gonna be upset. I'm still gonna go. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm boycotting NASCAR, but I'm gonna be pissed off. They won't throw money at a car they won't need next year. Yeah, like some of these teams, you know, like I'm hoping Hendrick isn't throwing everything this year. I'm hoping that they're just, you know, doing business as usual and then preparing for next year, and hopefully they don't suck next year. As a Hendrick fan, I would hate that, but it makes you think, you know, which of these teams are spending more money on this year, which more like focusing on the now, trying to win now, and which are looking at the long term. And I'm hoping that Stuart Haas is looking at the long term, but yeah. Briscoe was the only SHR. I was so proud of him. I'm so proud of him. I was at his first ever top 10. I'm so proud of him. Chase Briscoe got a top 10, and I was there for it. His first career top 10. I was at Elliott's first career top 5, so does this mean... I'm not even going to get into that, but I'm so happy for him. He's had such a bad year, like racing-wise, and he seems like such an awesome dude. Like, I just want to see him succeed, and seeing him get a 6th place finish on Sunday made me so happy. So good for you, Chase Briscoe. I feel awful for Almirola. It seems like every time he gets wrecked, it's not his fault. Yep, seems accurate. Except for Homestead. Homestead, he was stupid. That was stupid. What do you think of Kevin Harvick's interview? I agree with him that it's dangerous and that they shouldn't have been running, but for him to say it's like the most dangerous thing he's ever been a part of, dude, Kevin Harvick, you literally intentionally caused a 20-car pileup at Talladega. You cannot talk about the most dangerous thing ever. Like, you're a champion of the sport. You're a great Hall of Fame driver. You've done a ton of successful things, but like sometimes I want to feel bad for Kevin Harvick, like with the championship with him last year. But then I remember 2015 Talladega, and I'm like, okay, never mind. Like, yeah, you kind of got that coming. But I 100% agree with him in terms that it was dangerous, that they couldn't see, that the visibility was poor, and that it was dangerous and they had to do something different. But, you know, they literally race at 200 miles an hour in packs at Talladega and Daytona. And I think that's still dangerous. So, whatever. It's like Kyle Larson said in his post-race. Every time they get in a race car, it's dangerous. It doesn't matter what track. It doesn't matter what the conditions are. It's 100% dangerous every time they get in that race car. So, under the Winston Cup format, Kevin Harvick would have more championships than Jimmy Johnson. Yep, and Jeff Gordon would be a 7-time champion. 04, 07, 14. I'm still mad about 14. Biggest surprise of the season, positive? It's a good question. I mean, Michael McDowell winning the freaking Daytona 500, I think that's up there. And, like, Michael McDowell is, like, I think he's still, like, top 16 in points. I think that's a pretty thorough surprise. Like, if you told someone Michael McDowell was top 16 in points, they'd be shocked. But then if you told them he was already locked in on for a win, where did that come from? Let's see here. Point standings. Yeah, Michael McDowell is 16th in points right now. So he's still in the top 16 in points. Like, Michael McDowell is top 16 in points. I'd say that's the biggest, like, surprise in a good way. How quickly Larson has been able to adapt to the Hendrick equipment, I think that's up there. Chris Buescher, I think that's another one. At about 3 weeks ago, I would have said JTG, but they've had a pretty rough couple of weeks. Do you still hate Brad? I respect him much more than I did 7 years ago, and you know I like him. He's a good guy. He's gonna be a Hall of Famer. But the fact of the matter is, I was at that race. I was like 13 or 14 years old, and that was traumatic. Lots of tears have been shed. I literally still have nightmares about that race. So the fact of the matter is, I like Brad now. He's pretty decent. I'm never going to forgive him for Texas 2014 because it cost Jeff Gordon a freaking championship. McDowell has thoroughly earned your respect. Accurate. How about Priest leading at COTA? Yes. Yes, we talked about this, I guess, before you got on. But dude, one of my favorite moments from the race on Sunday, like, was Priest versus Chastain for the lead. Not just because, you know, oh, we never see them lead, but it, like, everything that happened. Chastain 3 wide going into 1 for the lead. Priest following. Side by side at times through the S's. And then what turn is that? I think it was 8. 8 you go up that right-hander, and then 9 you go up it again and take a left. So I think 8 and 9 they were side by side, and that's when Priest kind of slowed up and he crossed him over and went under him and went for the lead. Chastain tried to cross him over again, and then long back stretch. This is when the Custer Truex crash happened. I really wanted to see like a 5 or 6 lap battle between Priest and Chastain. That would have been so fun. But I had my camera on it. I was like, oh, this is awesome. This is awesome. It's in my COTA vlog, so if you want to see that, go back through that. But Priest had the inside line going into 12. Chastain intentionally took it wide, I'm pretty sure, used the runoff area, and I thought Priest was clear, and I was like, oh, man, that sucks. I was really looking forward. But all of a sudden, I look up, Priest wiggled a bit, I think, and then Chastain freaking guns it, and they're side by side going into 13. I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And then I hear a bunch of people next to me go, oh my god. I like freaking turn my camera, and Cole Custer's like car is exploding, and Truex's like car is in 5,000 pieces. And I'm like, oh wait, I'm like looking at the battle for the lead over here, got my camera on Truex right here, and I'm like, there's too much happening at once. But dude, I wish we got more of that Priest versus Chastain, because I think Chastain ended up pitting under that caution. But, man, that was such a fun battle. I wish we could have gotten more. Will a NASCAR Cup team owner have all of his cars in the Final Four? I would have guessed, Jones was such a weak link. Like, Jones is a good race car driver. He's not great, and he's definitely not bad. He's a good, solid race car driver, and this year has shown it at Richard Petty Motorsports, but he was a weak link at Gibbs. Like, Truex, Kyle Busch, Hamlin, they were on a different planet. And then Jones, he won a couple races, but consistency-wise, he couldn't do anything. Hendrick Motorsports this is their opportunity to make that happen this year. Like, they can literally clinch the Owners' Championship this year, like, at freaking Martinsville. They're that good. They have to get more playoff points. They might take them away from each other, and that could, eliminate each other. But Bowman has 10 points right now. Larson has, like, 15 because of stage points. Elliott and Byron have theirs from wins, but then also they're top 5 in points, so they get extra from that. So playoff points are going to be important, but even with Gibbs this year, again, like, Bella's been good. He's been good. He's been doing better than what Jones has done in the past couple of years, but he's not looking like he can make a deep playoff run. He can make it to the second round. Heck, I might even have him in my second round right now, but the fact of the matter is he's not going to make a deep run. He's not going to make it to the Final Four. All 4 Hendrick guys right now, I think, have the capability of making the Final Four. If they can do everything right, they can avoid disaster, they can avoid a Harvick round of 8 from last year, they can do it. But, yeah, I would say Hendrick is right now the clear favorite in terms of having all 4 drivers in the Final Four, and this year would be the year to do it. As for long term, I don't know what the next gen car is going to do, so I can't make any predictions past that. I met Priest a couple of weeks ago at Stafford Motor Speedway in Connecticut. That was a few days ago before the 2021 race, so we talked about his 2020 crash. So that's pretty neat. Yeah, I've heard that Ryan Priest is a pretty good guy, pretty nice and chill dude, so that's really cool that you got to meet him there. I know he does a lot of short track stuff. I think he's an underrated driver. I'm not saying, like, put him in a Hendrick or Gibbs car right now, but, I think he's an underrated driver. I think he deserves an opportunity in a pretty decent car, but yeah, I like Ryan Priest. That's really cool that you got to meet him. There's usually a slacker at Gibbs like Logano and Jones, except for when they had the Elite Four. Yes, that I guess that was 2015 and 2016 when they had Edwards, Hamlin, Kenseth. I mean, all of those guys had multiple years. 2015, Hamlin won 3 or 4. Kyle Busch, that was his championship year. He won 5 or 6. Kenseth won 6. Edwards won 3 or 4. I mean, they were really good. Yeah. Who do you have winning at the next road course at Sonoma? Elliott, Truex, Logano, Larson. One of those 4 are going to be really good. Let's see here. Who else is good at Sonoma? I'm trying to think. If Cindric races there, I'd be curious to see how he does. I was impressed by Chastain this past weekend, but I'm gonna go with Truex right now, just because Truex like is so good at Sonoma. You know, Elliott is a good road course racer, but he's only had like one good Sonoma race. Byron, I tell you what, Byron could be an underdog there because in 2019, he could have William Byron could have won that race in 2019 if they weren't points racing. You know, they were going for stage points, so they did a different strategy and ended up screwing him, and they got like 8th. But if they raced for a win, which they're allowed to do now, I think Byron could have a shot at it. I think William Byron, add him to that list of Elliott, Truex, Logano, Larson. I put Byron in there. I think he's got a really good shot. That lineup was stacked. Yeah, the 2015-26 Gibbs team was really good. William Byron wins Sonoma. Yeah, it's a good pick. Good pick. But, yeah. Going to go 5 more minutes here. 5 more minutes, and then that will be it. Oh, also, I forgot to say this, but on the way back from COTA, we're literally like 2 hours. It was like 10 o'clock at night. We've been on the road for 2 hours on 35. And we saw a bunch of NASCAR haulers. We saw Alex Bowman, William Byron, Denny Hamlin, Chris Buescher. So that was really cool because it was like, usually like we've seen them like leaving the track at the same time as us. We see them like 2 minutes down the road. I'm like, oh, that's cool to see the hauler. But this was like hours down the road, like heading home at night, like late at night. And we saw them. And we're like, Ally, where did that come from? 48. I was like, whoa. That's crazy. That's really cool. And so I took a bunch of videos. So do you guys want me to post that video like on here later? I'd probably do it tonight or tomorrow morning, but yeah, I might post that. So if you want that, then I can do that. But I thought it was really cool. I think I said some stuff. I don't remember what I said, but I still got those videos on my phone if you want them. I posted them on the Twitters. Let's see. Was there bad traffic in the getting in was a little stacked up. It was during qualifying. You could hear the cars and stuff, but it was a little, and also the rain didn't help because it was really, really muddy. But getting in was a bit slow, but getting out took forever. We sat in our parking spot waiting for cars to move for about 20 minutes. Even when we got started moving, it took another 20 to 30 minutes to get out of there. Then we finally got onto a major road, and we were able to pass some people. But, you know, they shut down roads going one way. It was a struggle to get out of. But once you were able to get clear traffic, get to the state highway, you were fine. But it took a while. So yeah, that sucked. I'm sure. I don't know what played a factor there, but it sucked. Hello. Oh my. Caleb, maybe. Hello. Post those vids. All right. I got one vote to do it. I will do that later. We love talking to you. Why 5 minutes? I've got to mow the lawn. Yeah, and it's about to get, I guess it's about to get hot, but I got to avoid the mosquitoes. The mosquitoes love me, which really, really sucks, so I got to do that before the mosquitoes come out. And then, but yeah, so only 5 more minutes, or I guess 2 or 3 more minutes here, but if you can pick your tracks for the NASCAR playoffs, what tracks would you choose final 10 races? I honestly like the current schedule in the playoffs. I like Darlington, Bristol, the Roval, Talladega, because those are, you gotta have one of those. Kansas is fine in there. I guess if you bring back old Texas is fine in there. Phoenix is fine in there. Martinsville. I like Phoenix Raceway, but I think we should get rid of it as a championship. I think it should still be in the playoffs, but as a championship race, I'm not sure sold on that idea yet. But, you know, I think we have a good schedule now. I'd have to think more about it if I were to switch dates with a different track. Thank you for tuning in, NASCAR Stop Motion and more. Nice talking to you too. Goodbye to everyone. I guess I'm going to leave. Yeah. Yep. But I'm awful at like sign off. So hope you had having a great day so far. Hope you had a really fun weekend. If you were able to watch all 3 races at COTA. If you were at the racetrack just like me, I hope you enjoyed it too. I mean, that was one of the most fun experiences I've had at a racetrack. Such a unique venue, such a unique opportunity to go to an inaugural event to finally see my favorite driver win. It took 11 years, but I got to see my favorite driver win. Of course, it was a rain-delayed race, but yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the race, thoroughly enjoyed the track, the facility, the food, everything about it. So I hope you enjoyed the racing. If you were watching at home, I hope they had a good broadcast for you. I hope we return there, but we got the Coca-Cola 600 coming up this week, so get ready for that. Get ready to have some fun watching the Coca-Cola 600, sitting on your couch for 5 or 6 hours watching that. But have a great rest of your day, rest of your week. I hope everyone. See you later. I will post that hauler video sometime in the next few hours.